Good morning. Welcome back to Bible and Blues. I am Cameron, your host. Here we do commentary, I raise questions, and as I was accused of yesterday, and it's absolutely right, I tend to raise more questions than I provide answers. So if you like to have questions raised in your own mind for you to go research, you're in the right place. So if you want to see that comment, you're gonna have to go over to my VidMe channel. A person who I do have a great deal of respect for, who is older than me, wiser than me, more studied than I am, commented that first off he was upset about my title of my video because it was a bit clickbaity. It was a little bit. Let's face it, I wasn't providing answers with whether the Earth is young or whether the Earth is old. But so if you want to see the comment, go over to VidMe and check it out. So, but today is actually not that. I'm not going to defend myself against that because, like I said, I have respect for the guy, and that is what I do. I tend to raise far more questions than I do answers. And the reason is because I'm learning, and I unfortunately don't have the time to do 4 hours of research before I do a daily video. Let alone having a PhD to do stuff too. So I'm learning as I go here. I've learned a great deal with this. So if you're into that, if you like that, be sure to subscribe. Be sure to like and follow my channel. Make sure you set yourself up to get notifications. I post anywhere from 5 to 7 days a week. Typically, it's in the evening when I post. Anyway, at any rate, and it's usually pretty uncut. Usually it is. So you get a pretty raw representation of what I think. Today, I was listening this morning. I caught a video on by Hugh Ross. He's a PhD astrophysicist, and he's a Christian, and he talks about and he's obviously talking to a church. At one point in time, it cuts away, and you can see all the stained glass and everything. He's definitely at a church environment. So, but he's talking about the cosmological and scientific reasons to believe in God. And the video was like 45 minutes long, so I listened to it while getting ready for work and pushing my drive in, stuff like that. So anyway, so Dr. Ross he gave lots of good examples, scientific reasons, probabilities, numbers, examples in the Bible of things, and I'm not going to go through it because, like I said, I listened to it while driving in this morning, so I didn't write stuff down. I wouldn't have made it to work. I would have got into a car accident. So by all means, later on, when I post this, I will find that video and I will post a link down below for you for that video so you can watch it yourself. But one of the things is at the end, and spoiler alert. Okay, so at the end, he gives a story of when he was on a flight and he'd been called up, and it looks like they needed his seat in coach, so they offered him a first class seat. Okay, which is really nice. I've never flown first class. I'd hardly ever fly. And he sat down, and he turns out he's sitting. He sits down beside this gentleman, and the gentleman introduces himself, and he's a quantum mechanics scientist, quantum physicist. And he says, "I'm an atheist and a skeptic." He just says it straight up. And it's like, really? I know people are proud of this kind of stuff, but there you go. And so, and today's day and age, people do that. They get that right out there because it's like a badge of honor. Okay. And so he's like, well, who are you? Well, I'm Hugh Ross. I'm an astrophysicist, and I'm a Christian and an apologist. And it's like, oh, okay. Well, and the guy asks him 8 questions, and Dr. Ross is able to answer over a 2-hour period all 8 of these 8 questions, and the quantum physicist is amazed. He's like, Tell me, how could you answer? How did you have answers ready for all 8 of those questions? And you figure these 8 questions had to be fairly high level questions. These are very, high level thinkers. Okay, and so what did he come up? Well, turns out these are these 8 questions are the chapters in his book. So now the point of me telling you this is that when you are talking to people who are not believers, they have the same general questions, the same things come up, the same problems, the same reservations, the same things keep coming up over and over and over and over. And why is that? Because there's only so many questions you can ask, so many things you can, that they have. And so once you learn how to answer these questions, and I would suggest if you want to learn how to answer these questions, there are some good people to listen to. Frank Turek, who is these are PhD level people. I mean, literally, they have doctorates of philosophy, and so some of them have it in. Hugh Ross has it in astrophysics, and Frank Turek used to be is a PhD, and he also used to be a Navy pilot. So that gives certain level of credence when you're quoting these people as well. I mean, but by learning from these people, Frank Turek, Ravi Zacharias, okay, another PhD, immigrated here from India, and really a gentle soul when he's bringing things up, so he might be one. Frank Turek would be one. He's a Type A personality. If you want to learn a more aggressive way of doing it, listen to him. I try kind of a balanced approach to a certain extent, listening to these guys. And oftentimes it's a matter of just getting the information into your head to know that it's there. There is information. Eventually, over time, I do want to get this information on my fingertips, so it's on the tip of my tongue. So when these questions come up over and over and over again, like yesterday's video, the young Earth versus old Earth question. How can you believe that the Earth is only 6,000 years old? It's like, well, first of all, that's quite the generalization. Yada yada yada. So if you want to know about that one, how I talked about that, and by the way, raised more questions. Yes, I did. So, but once you have this information in you, to a certain, and maybe you don't have the exact numbers. And some people, if you don't have the exact numbers, it must be bunk, right? So, but at least if you can draw them up, if you're into it, obviously, if you get into an official, formal debate on a stage with a skeptic, you better have your numbers handy. But if you're just in general conversation, you should know that these numbers exist, and maybe be able to direct people. It's like, well, I know you have these problems, and helps if you do it with love, unless you have a complete jerk and you don't want to ever talk to him again. But if you listen to this guy here, he's a PhD, he's an astrophysicist, and he talks about these numbers and the law of decay, and it's just all these concepts that I'm just learning. Okay, but if you go and talk, watch this guy's videos. I mean, you're going to get some really great information. Now, if you're not even willing to go there and get the information, then maybe you don't really care. Okay, but if you really want the information, if you really want to find out what I'm talking about, or what this really means, I mean, instead of me spoon feeding it to you, why don't you go over here and look? So that would help to a certain extent, and obviously knowing your Bible and how it relates to these things is incredibly important. Without further ado, first off, do you have a comment about that? Please comment down below. Give me your criticism. Give me your insights. Give me your anecdotal stories about when you dealt with some of these things, because I know we all do to a certain extent. Even if you are not actively pursuing these debates, just the fact that you're a Christian and people know you're a Christian, you encounter people who sit there and try to shoot down your faith, and they're doing it for sport, really. And if you're not prepared, you're not prepared, and they're going to shoot you down. And if you're not deep into, at least have a good working knowledge of these questions, they could affect your faith, and I'd hate to have that happen. So get some information into you is what I'm saying. So, but leave a comment down below. Give me some stories about what did you go through, what did you do, and if you have and again, I'm open for collaborations. If you wanted to do something side by side and talk about these things and give me your story, we can share our channels. I'm more than happy to do that, whether it be through a Skype or something like that. And so, but I want to at least get this out here. So surprisingly, I have to get going here on this. So we're going to do Psalm 137. Psalm 137. We are out of the Psalms of Ascent. Okay. And I want us to dive right into it. I haven't had a chance to pre-read it, so I can't give you an opening synopsis. Let's read about it together. Psalm 137. By the rivers of Babylon we sat and wept when we remembered Zion. There on the poplars we hung our harps, for there our captors asked us for songs. Our tormentors demanded songs of joy. They said, "Sing us one of the songs of Zion." How can we sing the songs of the Lord while in a foreign land? If I forget you, O Jerusalem, may my right hand forget its skill. May my tongue cling to the roof of my mouth if I do not remember you, if I do not consider Jerusalem my highest joy. Remember, O Lord, what Edomites did on the day Jerusalem fell. Tear it down, they cried. Tear it down to its foundations. O daughter of Babylon, doomed to destruction, happy is he who repays you. For what have you done to us, he who seizes your infants and dashes them against the rocks? Here ends reading of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Here we're reading about a people who are in captivity in another land, and they're trying to find their love for God, and they're trying to figure out how to do this. This is a psalm of lament, and this asks us to examine a part of ourselves of how would we worship God in a foreign land, in a place where we are not loved and we're hated. So that's what I just got out of for a quick reading, So anyway, I'm going to shut her down here. I need to clean up my phone because I've used up a whole lot of memory with videos. So I only have a little bit of time left on the phone. So anyway, I really appreciate you watching. Be sure to subscribe and follow my channel for more stuff like this. I want to engage in debate and conversation about the subjects that we talk about here in the mornings. Let me know what you think about it, and leave a comment. And again, if you're interested in a collaboration, and want to talk about any of the subjects that I talk about, or have a subject of your own that you think that you'd like my opinion on, or you just want to beat me down, give me a holler. I'm generally open. We'll we'll schedule a time, figure out when we can do it together. So God bless you. Have a great day, and God bless. Have fun.